As with most difficult things in life, there are some benefits to being an amputee. My socks last twice as long when I buy a pair of them than they do for a two-legged person. I spend half as much time clipping my toenails. And then the one that's probably the biggest advantage for me is I have a 50% chance that if I drop something on my foot, it's not going to hurt, as long as I hit the right foot. In fact, a few months ago I was at a wedding reception, and a lady with a child who was handicapped in one of the big motorized wheelchairs had left the room, and as she came back in, it had sort of gotten dark and they moved the tables over for dancing, and she drove the wheelchair over my left foot, my prosthesis, and she felt a bump, and then she was like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, that had to crush your foot, that had to feel awful, are you okay?" And I'm like, I didn't feel it. And I never told her why I never felt it, but I just thought that was a really great advantage to being an amputee. One of the disadvantages of being an amputee that I've found for me personally is all the stuff I need to wash and keep clean. Every night when I take off my silicone liner, I have to take this to the bathroom and I have to wash it with mild soap and water, and then it gets hung up to dry. And then because at times that silicone liner, especially if it's hot or you exercise, it fills up with sweat, and sometimes that then causes this sort of squishy sort of, remember the armpit sound? You get that kind of noise. And so one of the things that I have is a special sock. This is called a liner because it goes inside. It's a liner that goes inside the liner, but it's that type of material that wicks away moisture. So I put that on against my skin, and then that silicone liner rolls over it. It also helps, I found, reduce some of the friction. I've been having lately some sort of chafing feeling right about the knee from it moving back and forth. And so by wearing one of these liners, it provides just a little bit of cushion, and I don't get the same chafing feeling from my liner. But guess what? That means every night I have to wash one of these too. And then the other major thing that I have to wash is my leg. Imagine wrapping your leg in saran wrap and then going out and exercising all day, and how sticky, moist, and ucky that would be, and how that would be a breeding ground for acne, pimples, sores of all sorts of flavors. And so that means every night I have to wash my leg. One of the things I found is in a wheelchair, it's hard for me to wash my leg, and it goes all the way up towards the upper thigh. It's hard to wash that leg without totally getting the rest of my wheelchair wet, and I have to ride in that. And so I am very careful about getting that wet. So I've personally found it's just easier to take a shower all the time, every night. And then because of all the washing with the soap that I do, I find out that my hands get very dry and they crack. So I'm constantly having to put hand lotion on them so that the fingertips don't crack and I don't get the big scaly patches of dry on my hands. I also am supposed to put the hand lotion on my stump too, because it dries out, because it gets so washed. So it seems sort of funny to use. So you got to get it clean so you can put cream on it, so that it doesn't dry up too much. Well, yesterday I felt like a slug. I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have any medical appointments. The one day this week I had no appointments. And so I decided I'm just staying home and in my jammies. And I decided not to wear my prosthesis, although I've been wheelchair bound for the last few weeks because of a problem with my right foot, my good leg. It's not being very good to me right now. But I've been wearing the prosthesis even though I'm not walking, just to keep the shape and sort of keep my leg used to it. But yesterday I decided, you know what? I'm not wearing that thing. I'm not putting it on. So I just decided I'm going to have a day off. One of the things that whenever I don't have the prosthesis on is I'm supposed to wear this. It's a shrinker sock. It's an elastic sock that stretches and compresses your leg a little bit so that your fluids don't collect and your leg doesn't swell. You have to maintain the same size of your leg, so that's why my leg is always extended and elevated. I don't let it dangle. But when I don't have the prosthesis on, I have a shrinker sock on. And yesterday I decided to be a real renegade and not even wear this. And one of the reasons is this silly shrinker sock costs $40. And when your leg changes size, you got to get a different size. So I only have one of these. I wear it every night at bed and then part of the time through the daytime. And I realized, you know what? I haven't washed this in a while. So yesterday I took it to the sink as well and washed it and then hung it out on the rack to dry over throughout the daytime. So I just got to say I had this guilty kind of pleasure feeling because I didn't wear the leg, I didn't wear the liner, I didn't wear any of the socks. I didn't have to wash anything last night, and it was such a nice day off. So now it's back to the same old routine, and now I'm wearing the liner and wearing the sock and wearing the prosthesis. But got to admit, it felt awfully good for that one day not having anything on my leg at all. As silly as that may sound, it's part of the life of being an amputee.